Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be recording a Clash Royale all cards tier list, so I am going to be ranking every single card in Clash Royale from S tier through F tier. And starting off here guys, we have the skeletons. I feel like there's really no debate on the skeletons being an S tier card. S tier, I feel like, is just, staple of the meta. Very, very solid. I'm not going to say that S tier necessarily means nerf worthy, just because, I don't think skeletons need a nerf, but they're always so good. You never don't want them in your deck, and they're always, very, very nice on defense. They have great utility. Now, guys, we have the Bomber. Bomber is a very nice card, in my opinion. I think that it's a little bit underrated in, the mid-ladder community, but it did get a decent nerf in recent time. Just for that, I will put it in the A tier, but I do think that Bomber is a very solid card. Next up here, guys, we have the Goblins. I do feel like Goblins got a lot worse in the meta ever since the Royal Ghost kind of came around, because Royal Ghost is very, very annoying for Goblins, but I do think that they're still a pretty solid card. I'll put them in the B tier. I feel like Goblins, actually, maybe I'll put them in the C tier. I feel like C tier is, just meh. Now we have the Spear Goblins. Spear Goblins are great, too. Once again, they're kind of being overshadowed by a little bit more broken counterpart, aka the Evo Skeleton Army. I will put the Spear Goblins in the same tier as the Goblins, maybe a little bit above them though, just to kind of show that the Spear Goblins, in my opinion, are better than the Goblins. They have a bit more use, in my opinion. Now we have the Zap. Man, regular Zap is not very great. I feel like regular Zap is just mid, man. I'm going to put it in the D tier, to be honest. Zap is just not the greatest. Evo Zap is great, but remember, guys, we're not ranking them based off the Evo, only their regular form. Now we have the Knight. Dude, Knight is such a nice card to play with. Knight is always getting so much value. Very, very useful card, in my opinion. One of the GOATs of the game, for sure. I'm going to put it in the A tier at the very front. I would put it in S tier in a different meta, but because of the Evo Royal Ghost, I do think that maybe it's a little bit worse than an S tier card right now. Next up, guys, we have the Musketeer. Musketeer, in my opinion, is a solid card. It's never too great, never too weak. What do you guys think about the Musketeer? I feel like Musketeer is just a great, well-rounded card. Never too crazy, never too bad. Just going to go for the B tier on the Musketeer. Just like a solid card, always getting her job done. Before we head into the next match, I would like to talk about today's sponsor, Cooper. Imagine you're shopping at Amazon, Walmart, or wherever, and you hit the checkout page, and Cooper immediately jumps in, and they test all of the available working coupons automatically, and then they apply the best one. Instant savings without any effort. It even shows you price comparisons so you know if you're getting scammed or if your headset is actually 40% off. I know what you guys are thinking. This sounds kind of like Honey, but unlike Honey, Cooper actually plays by the rules. Nothing shady, no commission stealing, no overriding affiliate links, no secret clone army of cookies. They follow affiliate policies and let merchants decide who gets commission. So if you're a creator or using someone's link, Cooper's not going to hijack that, unlike a certain other extensions. So yeah, if you always want a positive elixir trade while shopping online, don't forget to install Cooper for free using the link in the description and start saving now. Thank you again to Cooper for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back into the video. Now we have Valkyrie. Man, I'm a big fan of the Valkyrie, actually. I feel like Valkyrie is really underrated. Evo and regular version. I'm going to put the Valkyrie in the very top of the A tier, just a little bit over the Knight, because Valkyrie does do a little bit better against, the new Evos like the Skeleton Army, the Ghost, even the Evo Witch, and stuff like that. Next up, guys, we have one of my favorite win conditions, the Hog Rider. Hog Rider is such a... Dude, the Hog Rider has so much aura, man. It's such a funny card. I would put the Hog Rider in the B tier, though. Normally, I would put it in maybe the A or the S tier, but I do think that Hog Rider maybe is a little bit weak in this meta. Let me know what you guys think about Hog Rider. That may be a little bit more of a controversial opinion, though. Now, guys, we have the Goblin Barrel. Man, Hyper Beta is so strong, but that's only when you have the Evo Goblin Barrel. I do think that the regular Goblin Barrel is D tier. I don't think that the regular Goblin Barrel is good whatsoever. It's the Evo that makes him very strong. Now we have Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon is another solid card. I feel like it's kind of just like the Musketeer, where it gets the job done, doesn't do nothing too crazy, but you're never disappointed, to have the Baby Dragon. Always puts in good work and always does a nice job. I'll put it in the B tier. Now, guys, we have the Freeze Spell, man. Freeze Spell is such a funny gimmick. I am a big fan of the Freeze, to be honest. I feel like it's very, very fun, especially with an Inferno Dragon, just getting that 1 HP freeze on the Inferno Dragon. Okay, let's go for I would go for the D tier, to be honest. Maybe a bit worse than the Zap, but it's still a cool and fun card for sure. Now we have the Skeleton Army, man. This is the mid-ladder final boss. I would put the Skeleton Army, regular Skeleton Army, in the C tier. Actually, maybe in the D tier, to be honest. If I'm being unbiased, I'm just thinking of the Evo right now. The regular Skeleton Army, guys, is definitely no better than D tier. I feel like it's just mid, you know, get zapped away, arrows away, snowballed away. You're almost never getting value with a regular Skeleton Army. Now we have the Witch. Dude, regular Witch is actually underrated in my opinion. I feel like people don't understand that the regular Witch does actually provide decent value because of the Evo Witches overshining it so hard. But I would put the Witch in the C tier, a little bit better, you know, than the Goblin Barrel and the Skeleton Army. But I would say that it's not better than like the Goblins or the Spear Goblins. Now we have Prince, dude. This is Jinxie's most hated card. To be honest, I hate the Prince too. I don't think many people who don't use Prince are a fan of him. Those 1 HP dashes are literally 10 out of 10 rage bait. I think I'll put the Prince in the B tier. He took a little bit of a hit ever since it got nerfed in the last balance change, just making it charge a little bit less, which did tone it down a bit, but I still think that it's very strong. Now we have Balloon. Honestly, I think this is a pretty controversial card, man, because a lot of people like to say that the Balloon is really bad. Personally, though, I'm on the other side. I think that Balloon is a very solid card, a little bit underrated, really strong in Lava Loon. It's nice in that minor Balloon Musketeer deck as well. I'm going to put the Balloon guys in the A tier. I feel like it's a very solid win condition and definitely better than the Hog Rider. Next up, we have the P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. is, I feel like, one of the coolest cards right now because you could use the Evo, but you could also not use the Evo. Most Evo cards, you know, you either always use the Evo or you never use the Evo. But P.E.K.K.A., right, it's kind of one of those ones where you can switch. It's solid regardless. I think I'll put the P.E.K.K.A. in the B tier, man. It's not crazy, but it's also, like, definitely better than average, I would say. Okay, man. Here, I would say this is one of the most hated, but also most loved cards in Clash Royale, X-Bow. X-Bow, man, I feel like X-Bow players like to downplay how strong the X-Bow actually is. I do think that ever since X-Bow got that tiny buff, it's been a lot better. I would say that X-Bow is definitely better than most of the cards, if not all of the cards in the C tier. Okay, now we have Lightning. Lightning's an interesting one, man, because it's very, very meta dependent. Right now in this meta, Lightning has been doing very, very well because you're able to take out all of the annoying, you know, ranged units like Wizard, Witch, deals nicely against Executioner, Baby Dragon, all that stuff. Just for that, I think I have to put Lightning in the A tier. Now we have Royal Giant. Dude, Royal Giant is insane in this meta. I feel like anywhere but S tier is just honestly wrong. RG is completely broken right now. Definitely one of the best decks in the game, and you don't even need the Evo for it. Okay, we have the Three Musketeers. If this was the rework Three Musketeers, I feel like I would think a little bit differently, but the current Musketeers, guys, the current Three Musketeers, dude, they suck, man. They're in the F tier for sure. First card in the F tier, man. Congratulations, Three Musketeers, but W rework. Okay, we have Golem. Sneaky Golem in the tier list, man. Okay, I feel like Golem got a lot better after that buff to the Golemite's death damage. It actually is a lot more threatening now. I think I'll put the Golem above the Hog Rider for sure at the very top of the B tier. Loki, nah, I'm putting it in A tier, bro. Screw it, man. I'm putting it above the Balloon, to be honest. It's definitely better than the Balloon. All right, we have Poison, bro. Poison is straight to the S tier, man. Poison has been dominating the game for years now, man. There's only small glimpses where there's big spells that are better than it, but Poison is still never out of the meta, and currently Poison is in the most popular decks. Okay, now we have the Giant Skeleton. I like Giant Skeleton a lot. It's very fun to use, but it gives kind of gimmick vibes, right? Where, like, it's not a full gimmick, but at the same time, like, it still feels like a gimmick just because it's not really too great, and it has that funny death bomb at the end, but I think I'll put the Giant Skeleton in the C tier. I do feel like that the Mighty Miner, for example, hurt the Giant Skeleton a lot. Now we have the Dark Prince. Dark Prince got a very nice buff recently. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Dark Prince, man. I'm going to put him in the A tier. Very nice drill counter, supports pushes nicely, and it does a lot more damage than you'd expect ever since that buff. Ice Wizard, man. If you didn't tell me that Ice Wizard got balanced, I wouldn't even know that it got nerfed in the last balance change. I think that's an easy S tier. Maybe in a different meta. Actually, not, it's A tier. In a different meta, I think it'd be S tier, but this current meta, I think it's just an easy top of the A tier. Low-key could be S. Let me know what you think about that, but I think let's keep it there for now. Now we have the Furnace, dude. Furnace is still so broken, man. Supercell has nerfed it so many times. Man, guys, Supercell saw Furnace outranging a cannon, and they decided to nerf the walking speed. Like, they made it walk faster, man. I'm putting the Furnace in the S tier, too. I think it's so good. Now we have the Princess. Princess is actually my second favorite card in the entire game. But I do think that she did take a little bit of a hit with the nerf, making it easy to react her at the bridge. Definitely still solid. Not a bad card whatsoever, but definitely being overshadowed by Dark Goblin right now. I'll just put her in the B tier, maybe a bit above the P.E.K.K.A. Now we have guards. Dude, guards are so broken. They're right in the S tier, man. They're definitely a staple of these cycle decks. They've even snuck their way into some golem decks. They're in some goblin giant decks. I do feel like that guards are one of those cards, man, that you never don't want in your deck. They fit in pretty much anything. Beatdown, cycle, control, you name it. Guards are always there. Now we have the Miner. This is the freest S tier of my life, man. Miner is the most consistent win condition in Clash Royale history. Very, very solid. Personally, I think it needs a nerf, but I also know that there's a lot of people that don't think Miner needs a nerf. Fire Spirit. Fire Spirit, I would say, is the second best spirit. It's really, really good. It does more damage than a Fireball if left alone. Maybe you guys didn't know that, but over 300 damage for just a 1 elixir spirit, that's crazy in my opinion. I'm going to put that right behind the Valkyrie. Now we have the Ice Spirit. In my opinion, really, really good as well. I do think that the Ice Spirit is a little bit worse than the Fire Spirit, but still one of the best spirits. I would just say that the Ice Spirit's being a little bit overshadowed by the strength of the other ones. Not that the Ice Spirit is bad whatsoever. I'll still have the Ice Spirit in the A tier, just maybe a little bit lower on the A tier list. Now we have the Bowler. I'm going to put the Bowler in the B tier. Bowler in a different meta, I would say, is probably A tier. But the Evil Royal Ghost is just kind of dominating against the Bowler. It is an E-Giant right now, but only really seen an E-Giant currently. I love the Bowler, man, though. Definitely have a lot of love for that card. We have the Log. I think this is the first tier list in history where I will not be putting Log in the S tier. I think that Log is not even the best small spell right now. I don't even think that it's in the top 2 small spells. Arguably not in the top 3. I would say it's the third best, though. But, man, Log's fall-off needs to be studied. I mean, being in the A tier is not a fall-off, but damn, bro. Log used to be an easy pick for arguably best card in the game. Now we have Lava Hound. This is going to be maybe a little bit frustrating for some people to hear, but I think Lava Hound is not the greatest card, man. I think Lava Hound as a deck is amazing, but as a card, Lava Hound is not that great, man. I'm going to put Lava in the very low B tier, right behind X-Bow. Ice Golem, man. Ice Golem is underrated. Ever since it got that HP buff, I feel like it has been actually quite strong. I'm going to put the Ice Golem in the A tier. Definitely worse than Knight, especially in a Royal Ghost season. Still a very solid card, though, and I'm glad to see that the Ice Golem has been getting a little bit of love. Mega Minion. Mega Minion's another, like, Musketeer-like card where it's just so solid. Never really is bad in a deck, but it's never, like, I feel like the MVP of a deck. I'm going to put it below the Musketeer. I'm also going to put the Prince a little bit higher, actually. Let me just put the Mega Minion maybe a bit above actually a bit below the Lava Hound, the very bottom of the B tier. Sparky. Dude, Sparky's a trash can on wheels, guys. This is going right in the D tier. I feel like Sparky is just not that great as a card. There's too many counters, man, like Zappies, E-Wiz, E-Drag, Zap, Lightning, Fisherman, E-Spirit, you name it, man. All of those cards are popular. They counter the heck out of Sparky, man. I didn't even list stuff like Rocket or anything, man. Dude, rip Sparky, man. We have the Lumberjack. Lumberjack is a great card. He's always getting the job done, and I feel like in some decks, he's definitely like the star. I think I'd put him in the B tier. Nothing too crazy, but definitely a great card. Inferno Dragon. Inferno Dragon's so underrated, guys. Always so good in those Lava Hound decks. It's actually getting more popular in other decks that didn't really run Inferno Dragon before. I'm going to put him in the... I'm going to put him at the very top of... No, the very bottom of the A tier. Up next, we have the Archers. Archers are solid, man. I do feel like Archers aren't anything crazy. I feel like if I put them anything above B, I'd just be lying. I'm going to put them in the B tier. Maybe a little bit better than the Musketeer, at least right now, but nothing too insane. Now we have the Minions. Okay, you're going right up to the S tier, man. The last nerf to the Minions was a joke, man. They did make them considerably worse, I agree, but they're still a top 5 card in the game if you're not counting evolutions easily. Now we have the Cannon. Bro, Cannon is also insane. I want to put the Cannon in the S tier, but I don't think it's the best building. I'm going to put it at the very front of the A tier. It's still insane. Okay, we have the arrows. Dude, arrows are so good. I'm going to put the arrows in the S tier as well. Arrows are really good. I think that they get a little bit too much value. I don't think they need a nerf, but I just think they get a little bit too much value. But in my opinion, I think it's, you know, maybe a staple of the meta. Bait cards being too popular. Don't nerf arrows, but they're very good. We have Tesla. Dude, Tesla is so good too. I do think that it's considerably worse than Cannon. I'll put the Tesla at the top of the B tier. Nothing insane, but very, very solid card and gets the job done. Now we have the Mortar. Regular Mortar is not that great, to be honest. It's okay. The only time you really use the regular Mortar is when you have two really broken evolutions in a Mortar deck. I'm going to put the Mortar in the B tier as well, but I'd say a decent bit lower than the Tesla. Guys, now we have the Barbarians. Regular Barbarians suck, dude. They're going right down to the D tier, in my opinion. Low-key, they're worse than Freeze, in my opinion. Evil Barbs make up for it, but the regular Barbs are just not it, man. They're such a mid card, in my opinion. Not even mid. They're worse than mid. They're trash. Okay, now we have Minion Horde. Minion Horde, ever since that buff, man, they've been solid. Not as good as Minions, just because they do give a little bit more value, but I'll still put them in the A tier. Maybe a little bit below Log, but still a very, very good card. Tombstone. I dislike Tombstone. Tombstone's actually such a nuisance for my Logbait decks, but if I'm being unbiased here, it's nothing insane, but it gets the job done. Low-key, it's like the Musketeer of buildings, man. Doesn't do anything crazy, but it's good, it's solid, and it's never, like, horrible to have. I'll put it in the B tier as well, but maybe at the lower end of the B tier. Now we have Mini P.E.K.K.A. Dude, I saw some people calling for a Mini P.E.K.K.A. nerf, but I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like they're kind of crazy for calling a Mini P.E.K.K.A. needing a nerf, right? I feel like it's strong, but nerf is crazy. I think Mini P.E.K.K.A. is just an A-tier card. Fireball. Dude, Fireball is actually solid, too. I do think that it does get kind of overshadowed by arrows, poison, and lightning, but it's still great, and it works in quite a few decks. I do think that maybe Poison needs a bit of a nerf, though, to give Fireball a bit more love. Okay, let's just go for the Fireball. A little bit worse than the Lightning. Probably like the lower tier, like the lower end of the A tier. Now we have Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower has been making a little bit of a comeback, and with the Evo Piggies next season, I think Bomb Tower will be the best building, but because we're speaking about right now, I'm going to put the Bomb Tower a little bit worse than the Mortar, but a bit better than the Tombstone, in my opinion. I do think that Bomb Tower will have a crazy comeback. Guys, now Goblin Hut, man. Goblin Hut has received like 5 nerfs, and it is still by far, without a doubt, the best building in the game. Please nerf the Goblin Hut, man. It has too much HP, man. It has way too much HP. Okay, now we have the Graveyard. Graveyard actually took a crazy hit this season. Last season, it was undoubtedly the best win condition. Now it's not even really used. I do think that the meta's a big part of it, but I will say that the nerf to the Graveyard definitely did a little bit. I'm going to put the Graveyard in the A tier, but a little bit on the lower end of the A tier, in my opinion, just because of the meta kind of cooking it a bit. Now we have E-Barbs. Dude, I want an E-Barbs evolution. I really want an E-Barbs evolution. Let me know what card you guys think should get evoed, but I think E-Barbs should be up there, man. I'm going to put the E-Barbs in the D tier as well. They're just not great. I will say I genuinely believe they're better than Barbarians, but they're not good. We have the NATO. NATO is such a versatile card. Always getting those king activations, the bailout defenses. The only thing is that it is a little bit worse against Swarm now after the nerf, which is great. I love that, but it's still definitely an A tier card in my opinion. Now we have the Clone. Dude, the Clone sucks. I'm putting that in the F tier, man. You can join the 3 Musketeers, man. Clone is so trash. E-Wiz. I love the E-Wiz. I remember I used to be obsessed with the E-Wiz back in the day. E-Wiz is actually having a better season than it has in the past as well. I would put it at the very end of the B tier, or maybe the top of the C tier, but I'll put it in the C tier, man, to be honest. I feel like I have a bit too many cards in the B tier. Okay, now we have the Goblin Gang. I will say Goblin Gang is better than Spear Goblins and Goblins, but I do think that Guards kind of has the Goblin Gang wiped down for sure. I think B tier is solid for the Goblin Gang. Evo Ghost does hurt it a lot. And now Dark Goblin, man. This is the princess, dude. Dark Goblin snatched the princess's place, man. Dark Goblin just kind of dominates it. Okay, I'm going to put the Dark Goblin in the A tier. A little bit high, but I do think that it's a great card. Now we have Battle Ram. Battle Ram's just the definition of average, in my opinion. Nothing great, nothing terrible, just a solid card. And we have Executioner. Executioner is another one of those solid cards I feel like that are a little bit underrated too. I feel like Exy once more people figure out that Executioner can be used like the Magic Archer somewhat, I think people will use him a little bit more, man. Just getting those Exi-NATO lineups on the tower. I'm going to put him in the C tier as well, maybe above the Giant Skeleton. Now we have bats. Dude, minions just destroy bats. Like, not only do they counter the bats literally, but why would you use minions? I mean, why would you use bats when you can just use minions that are just dead broken? I think bats are like low C tier, maybe even D tier because of that, to be honest. I'll put them in the D tier, not going to lie, because minions just have them wiped down. Now we have the Heal Spirit. A little bit underrated, in my opinion. People act like Heal Spirit sucks, but I do think that in the decks that the Heal Spirit is in, it does a great job. I'll put the Heal Spirit in the B tier, I would say. The very worst one in the B tier. Now we have Rage. Man, I hate Rage so much. I do think that Rage is really good, but I also think that with the Goblin Giant nerf, it is a little bit worse now because it doesn't have as many cards to pair with. I'm just going to put it in the A tier, a little bit lower on the A tier. Low-key could be B tier, to be honest. Now we have Bandit. Bandit is great, always getting those dashes. I do think, though, that the Boss Bandit kind of hurt how strong the Bandit really is. I'm going to put it in the B tier just because of the Boss Bandit overshadowing it, but Bandit's great. Now we have Night Witch. Night Witch is another pretty forgotten about card, I would say. Golem used to, always have Night Witch. Now you almost never see Night Witch Golem. I think Night Witch is a pretty solid D tier card, if I'm being completely honest, man. Skeleton Barrel. Regular Skeleton Barrel, because remember, guys, we're not talking about the Evo here. I think it's just average. A little bit better than the Goblin Barrel, but it's average for sure. Nothing better than average. Now we have Barbarian Barrel. Dude, Barbarian Barrel is the best spell in the game for sure. Maybe behind the Poison, but best small spell for sure. Definitely took Log's crown as one of the greats, man. Definitely took Log's crown. I do think that Barbarian Barrel is a little bit of a product of the meta, but it has like a 35% use rate, man. Like, you can't just like ignore the stats, man. The stats on that are genuinely insane. Okay, now we have the Flying Machine. Probably my second most hated card in the game, but if I'm being unbiased, it's average, bro. It really is average. It pains me to say, but it's average. Okay, now we have the Mirror. Dude, Mirror is F tier. Mirror sucks, dude. The only time Mirror ever gets usage is when there's a card like, Goblin Machine that's so broken that you win the game by just mirroring it up, like, and dropping a bunch of the same card together. But other than that, man, it's trash. And now we have the Barbhut, dude. Well, Barbhut is the king of trash, so, you can join the clone. I do think Barbhut's the worst card in the game, though, so that's pretty annoying. Okay, we have the Elixir Collector. Elixir Collector is sneakily broken. Nobody talks about it, but Elixir Collector is genuinely so good, man. Like, people don't say anything, but Elixir Collector is the only reason that these stupid beatdown decks are even popular, like those Golem Healer decks and stuff like that. Elixir Collector is definitely a backbone for that. Mega Knight. I hope you guys don't hate me for this, man, but Mega Knight is not better than above average. Like, Mega Knight's just an above average card. There's a lot of counters for it in the meta. The Evo is really good, but the Mega Knight itself, it's not nothing crazy, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, Zappy. Zappy's, in my opinion, top 3 underrated card in the game. I feel like Zappies got a crazy buff. They were underused, but then people started realizing how good the Zappies actually are. I'm going to have the Zappies in the A tier. I feel like A tier is definitely valid for the Zappies. Just going to put them maybe right below the Fire Spirit. All right, Hunter. Dude, Hunter's solid right now because of the meta. In the Royal Giant meta, you can always expect Hunter to be good. I feel like Hunter surviving Fireball Zap is a crazy interaction that not many people know about, and people kind of underlook that, man. Like, Hunter survives every spell that's not named Lightning. That's kind of insane if you think about it. I think just for that, it's a little bit better than the Dark Goblin right now. Now we have the regular Ghost, and I think the regular Ghost being so strong is honestly what makes the Evo so broken, but we're not talking about the Evos today. I'm going to put the Royal Ghost a little bit better than the Knight right now, even the regular Ghost. Okay, we have Recruits. God, they need to delete this card, man. They need to delete it. But in a Royal Ghost meta, Recruits are not crazy. If I'm being completely truthful, I'll put them in the lower B tier, man. But, dude, Supercell, nerf it, delete it, do something, man. Get it out the game, bro. Get it out the game. Now we have the Rascals. Honestly, Rascals is a card that confused me because I really didn't think that Rascals needed a buff. But for whatever reason, they did actually end up buffing the Rascals. I feel like Rascals is solid. They do really bad in the meta, but that's because Evo Ghost, Barb Barrel, Log, you know what I mean? But I think they're okay. I'd put them better than the P.E.K.K.A, to be honest. Now we have the Goblin Giant. I think after the Goblin Giant nerf, he actually sucks, dude. Like, Goblin Giant genuinely is horrible after the nerf. I'm putting them right in the D tier. Arguably F tier, I think, but I feel like after the nerf, it's actually so bad. Okay, now we have the Snowball. Snowball is easily an S tier card. Even as the regular one, it gets so much value, dude. I do feel like Snowball might need a little bit of a tone down, but that's up to you guys to decide, man. All right, now we have Giant. I feel like Giant is much better than the Goblin Giant right now, man. I wouldn't say Giant is crazy, but I would say it's definitely viable in Sparky, in Double Prince, maybe in like a Giant Minor deck. I faced a Giant Minor deck earlier today. I think I'll put it in the high B tier, but I don't think it's anything insane. Now we have the Wizard. Wizard is underrated as well. I feel like it did get some nice buffs, but I still think that Wizard, you know, is nothing crazy. It's definitely no better than a B tier card. I do think it's better than above average Joe. Now we have Inferno Tower. In this meta, Inferno Tower, in my opinion, is an average card, you know, because it sucks against Evil Ghost, sucks against Skarmy, just bad in the meta overall, in my opinion, so I would say it's nothing too crazy. Now we have the Rocket. I feel like Rocket is probably the worst big spell right now if you don't count, like, Void and Vines and stuff. I feel like that it's really hard to get Rockets off offensively in this meta, mainly just because of how broken a lot of cards are, so it's really hard to Rocket cycle people. I'm going to put the Rocket in the B tier. Now we have Cannon Cart. I feel like Cannon Cart's better than average, but not much more than that. Maybe a little bit better than the Wizard, but I don't think it's too crazy. Now we have Magic Archer. I love the Magic Archer. It's actually one of the highest skill cards, and it's very, very fun and enjoyable to use as well. But that doesn't make it any better. It just makes it a cool card. I feel like Magic Archer is average right now. Once again, it's just really hard to use it in this season, just because I do think that there's a lot of better options kind of counterable by the Ghost. Now we have Piggies. Dude, Piggies are good. Piggies are good. But the Ghost, man, the Ghost. Dude, thank God the Piggies Evo is coming next season. I'm a big Royal Hogs fan, actually. I think I'll put it a little bit worse than the Hog Rider, because obviously in a meta where the Royal Ghost's popular, Piggies are just not better than the Hog. Now we have E-Drag. Dude, regular E-Drag sucks. I'm going to put that in the D tier, right next to the Barbarians, man. It's really bad without the Evo. Now we have Ram Rider. Ram Rider is definitely better than the Battle Ram, but is it better than the Hog Rider right now? Low-key, it's close, but I'm going to have to give the edge to the Ram Rider. I'm going to put the Ram Rider in the bottom of the A tier. All right, now we have the Wall Breakers. Dude, the Wall Breakers are broken. I'm putting the Wall Breakers right in the S tier, man. I feel like not a lot of people really talk about the Wall Breakers when, you know, you think of a really, really strong and broken card, but they're definitely S tier. Now we have the Earthquake. Earthquake's another interesting one as well, because I feel like the meta doesn't suit it, but it's great. I'm going to put the Earthquake in the B tier just because of the meta. Definitely better than Rocket, but nothing too high. Now we have the Diddy Cage. Evo Diddy is different, bro. He's really good, but I feel like the regular Cage is just solid. I do think that it's a bit worse than Tesla. Low-key, it's worse than Mortar too. I'm going to put the Cage in the B tier, but I'm going to put it below the Bomb Tower just because it's the regular. Now we have the Fisherman. Fisherman is one of the best cards in that game, man. I'm going to put it in the S tier. I feel like the just sheer amount of utility that the Fisherman has is just insane. Elixir Golem. Elixir Golem is not too great, man. As a card, I feel like it's kind of mid. It's just like the random broken support cards that make it annoying. I'm going to put it average. I'm going to put the E-Golem average. Now we have the Battle Healer. I hate this card, man. I hate all the healing cards, to be honest, but Healer has a special place in my heart just for how much I hate that thing. I'm going to put it in the A tier, I think. I think that the Healer is really underrated, especially in E-Golem and these Golem decks. You kind of see how nicely she shines, but I think I'll put her at the bottom of the A tier. Now we have Firecracker. I do feel like Firecracker is just being outperformed right now by different cards like Furnace, Executioner, Wizard, you name it, man. Firecracker's just not what she was before, but she's definitely better than the Musketeer, but I'd say worse than the Wizard. Now we have the Royal Delivery. Dude, Royal Delivery is one of the craziest bailout cards ever. Easily a A-tier card, in my opinion. Low-key, in the right meta, it could be S, but I'm going to keep it A-tier. Now we have Skelly Drags. Skelly Drags are another great but niche card. I feel like in the decks that Skelly Drags are in, it's really strong. But, like, you can't really fit the Skelly Drags in many decks. For that reason, I'm going to have it in the high B tier. But I wouldn't say that the Skelly Drags are, like, anything insane right now. Now we have the E-Spirit. In my opinion, E-Spirit is the best Spirit. I'm going to put it in the S tier, man. Broken right now, in my opinion. Good in RG, good in Hog, good in Bait, good against Bait, you know. I think it's insane. Good in Royal Recruits, you name it, bro. E-Spirit is there. Now we have the Electro Giant. I know Electro Giant is one of the most hated cards in the game, but I truly think the E-Giant isn't that strong. I feel like it's just an average win condition. It's above average. I think it's a bit better than the Piggies, but it's nothing, like, broken, in my opinion. Now we have Mother Witch. Mother Witch is good, but I don't think it's the right meta for Mother Witch. I mean, actually, it kind of is with the Evo Skarmy, but then the Ghost. I don't know. Mother Witch is a hard one, but I'm going to put it at the top of the B tier. Now, guys, we're coming up on champions. Okay, now we have the Archer Queen. I'm just going to shove the Archer Queen right in the A tier, man. Archer Queen is a great card. I do think that she isn't exactly the best champion, but she's really, really good. By the way, guys, I'm going to be ranking champions compared to each other, maybe a little bit, kind of, because I feel like comparing them to regular cards is a little bit unfair, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. Now we have the Golden Knight. Golden Knight is really strong, but I do think that he is a little bit worse than the Archer Queen right now. I think I'll put the Golden Knight in the bottom of the A tier. In the champions tier list, man, I'd say Golden Knight's a weaker champion. Okay, now we have the Goblin Drill. Goblin Drill is really good as a card, but in the meta, it's mid, mainly because of the Evo Ghost. I still think that it's an A tier. I still think that it's A tier, to be honest, but I do think that the Evo Ghost is kind of cooking it a bit. Now we have Skeleton King, another reason why Goblin Drill is not maybe in its prime right now. I think Skeleton King is arguably, if not the best champion. I'm going to put the Skeleton King in the high A tier, only because it did just get that emergency nerf, but that also shows how good it is. Now we have the Mighty Miner, my favorite card of all time. I think I'll put it a little bit below the Skeleton King. Really, really strong. Had a better meta last season, but I'd still say that the Mighty Miner is great. Now we have the Monk. I think the Monk is completely broken. I also think that the 4-card cycle made the Monk better than what it was before, just because you're always able to have that Monk down. I'm going to put the Monk right above the Mighty Miner, maybe. Yeah, maybe right above the Mighty Miner. All right, now we have the Little Prince. In my opinion, the Little Prince is the worst champion. I genuinely believe that Little Prince is like a C tier card. It's average, but, like, why would you use any champion over it? The Little Prince is mid, man. The Little Prince is very, very mid. Next up, guys, we have the Phoenix. Phoenix is another mid card. I'm just putting that right in the C tier. That's the definition of mid. Void spell. Bro, guys, do not tell Bobby I said this, but, dude, Void is the worst spell in the game. Like, it's the worst real spell. Like, I'm not counting Clone and Mirror as, like, a spell. They're more like gimmicks, but Void sucks, dude. Now we have the Goblin Curse. I do think that the Goblin Curse took a little bit of a hit with the nerf, but I still think that it's average at least. I'll put it in the C tier. All right, guys. Now we have the Goblin Machine. Thank God this card got nerfed, man. I do think that the Goblin Machine is now down to, I would say, a D tier card. It's nothing crazy anymore, but it's still okay in some situations, I guess. We have Goblinstein. Goblinstein, hear me out, guys. It will be making a comeback in 2026. I think that the Goblinstein is underrated. Just needs a little bit more time, and you guys will see it shine. I'm going to put it in the B tier, though. Very good, in my opinion. All right, now we have the Goblin Demolisher. Goblin Demolisher needs a little bit more love, man. I could definitely see Goblin Demolisher needing a buff. I'll put him in the C tier. Now we have the Bush, dude. Everyone loves the Bush, man. I do feel like that Bush is genuinely good. I think that people think that it's worse than it actually is. I would put it in the A tier, to be honest. Very underrated, in my opinion. Okay, this is the worst card in Clash Royale, guys. The Rune Giant, bro. Just get the Rune Giant right as the worst card in Clash Royale, man. This card genuinely sucks so bad. It's honestly just a useless piece of trash, to be honest. It's so bad. Never gets any value, and I don't know why it's still in the game, to be honest. Now we have the Berserker. Berserker is definitely a great card. I will say it took a little bit of a hit after the nerf, but it's still definitely very easily a high A and like a high end tier A card, I would say. Just going to put it right above the cannon, I think. Now we have the Boss Bandit. Boss Bandit's S tier, bro. Screw the Boss Bandit. Please nerf it. I actually take about the Skeleton King being the best one. I take that back. It's definitely the Boss Bandit, man. Boss Bandit's stupid. All right, now we have the Spirit Empress. Trust me, guys, Spirit Empress is A tier, man. You guys are going to call me crazy, but Spirit Empress is insane, bro. People are really underrating it, man. I'm telling you, bro, about the Spirit Empress, guys. It's crazy. Okay, now we have the Vine Spell. I actually think Vine Spell is underrated. I'm going to put the Vine Spell in the A tier, man. I just think it's underrated, and maybe you guys don't agree with me, but I truly do think that the Vine Spell is underrated for sure. I don't think that it gets as much love as it deserves. And guys, that is my Clash Royale card tier list. Like and subscribe, if you enjoyed. Please let me know what you think down below, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Have a great day, everyone. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.